Hi, everyone. This is Katie Reynolds with AQHA. We will wait just a couple of minutes to give a few more folks the chance to join us, and then we'll get started. Thanks for being here today. Okay, everyone, let's get started. My name is Katie Reynolds. I'm the Director of Youth Development for AQHA, and we have a few people joining us here today. We have Helen Hardy, who's the Manager of Youth Development. She's also in the AQHA headquarters office with us. We also are joined by Kim Pacino, who just started this week as a Coordinator of Youth Development. And then I want to also introduce our special guest, Abigail Pate Neesmith, who is the chair of the Youth Activities Committee. And Abigail, if you'd like to say a couple of words, that would be great.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the webinar. And if you're watching the recording, welcome. AQHA is so special, and I'm so happy that the foundation has this opportunity for scholarship for so many of our wonderful members. So wishing you all the best, and we hope you learn lots from this webinar and that you're a recipient of one of our many scholarships. So enjoy, and thank you guys, Katie, Laura, Helen, Kim, our new member, Kim. Thank you guys so much for joining the team and helping all of our applicants know the best ways to go about it.
Perfect. Thank you, Abigail. Yes, and so Abigail, Helen, Kim, and myself kind of work on the association side. We also have joining us today Laura Owens from the foundation, and Laura is really our in-house expert when it comes to the foundation scholarship applications and that process. So Laura, if you want to say hi, this would be a great time as well.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, we want to make sure that everybody is encouraged to apply and know that this opportunity is out there for scholarship funding each year. We've got about $300,000 that we can award each year for new students going into college. And so we want to make sure that y'all can take advantage of that and earn that money going forward.
Perfect. Thanks, Laura. And I put this in the chat box. So just to make sure that y'all are comfortable understanding how this works, we're going to go ahead and go through kind of our presentation about the application process, the deadlines, kind of our tips and tricks. All of this is being recorded. So I do see a question that came in asking if we would record this. We do. And we share it pretty widely and find that that makes it available to not only the youth who are perhaps still in school today, but really for anyone who just flat out wasn't able to join us here as we're doing this live on November 29th. So we definitely have this recording. We will share it as is. For those of you who may have questions that come to mind, you are welcome to put those in the chat box. You also might want to think about just keeping some notes for yourself because as we go through this presentation, we may answer some of those questions, but we certainly will get to your questions as they come up, if we are not already working our way through those. And then at the very end of this webinar session, we'll allow a few minutes to go through some of that information or answer those questions as needed. Of course, all of us are available Monday through Friday here in the office, and email is a great way to reach out to us, and you're always welcome to call us as well. So with that said, just a couple of tips and tricks about using Teams. If you're not already familiar with it, and I feel like most of us, if not all, are pretty well versed in navigating these online meeting platforms now. This is pretty similar to Zoom and some other platforms. But we will ask you all to keep your mics muted while we go through this so that we don't run into any feedback or maybe background noise. The chat box, if you look at the top of your screen, kind of towards the upper right-hand quadrant, you should see a little icon where you can click on a little chat bubble, and that will open up a box on the right side of your screen, and you are welcome to drop your questions or comments there. To get a little bit comfortable with that, and as we get started, if you want to just put in the chat where you are joining us from, that is always kind of fun to see all the different folks that we have joining us. So tell us what city or state you are joining us from. Now, I will say that for those of you who may be watching this as a recording, in the recording of these webinars, you are not able to see the chat. So when we do get a question posted there, we'll do our best to remember to read that out loud for those who don't have the benefit of seeing that in the chat. All right, so the purpose of this webinar is to provide you all as members who are interested in applying for one of our amazing foundation scholarships with the best understanding of that process and perhaps the resources that you might want to have at your fingertips. We are interested in, the foundation certainly is very invested in giving away every dollar that we can in the coming year. And to do that, we know that this can seem a little bit of an extensive, or, you know, maybe your first time through, even an intimidating process to go through. And we don't want it to be that way. We want this to feel very attainable, very achievable. And we want, as I said, to set you up for success in getting a piece of that $300,000 that Laura was talking about. So let's go ahead and get started. Our foundation scholarships are really provided by our donors who have a long legacy of giving to this industry via the foundation scholarships. So they're the ones who have really invested in the future of the industry. The foundation, as it says in the slide, has really created a legacy of support for youth in the hopes that we are creating future leaders to help impact the entire horse industry, as well as specifically to AQHA. So the number there is $290,000 that the foundation anticipates awarding for the 2022-2023 year. All right, so let's talk about who is eligible to receive scholarships. That, generally speaking, eligibility comes down to any AQHA or perhaps youth member who meets the criteria that have been established in any of our individual programs, meaning each individual foundation scholarship. And that can really vary depending on the different award. Each award may have different criteria and perhaps a different balance of considerations for how those awards are, or the award recipients are chosen. All of the scholarships that we have available through the foundation are listed on the link that is up on the screen now, aqha.com/foundation. We tend to categorize scholarship types in several broad categories, including general scholarships, career path scholarships, and state and regional scholarships. So we'll talk a little bit more about those on the next slide. People often want to understand more about how scholarship recipients are selected. There is a component of academic achievement, so how good of a student you are as measured by your grades. Some degree of financial need, the amount of your involvement in the quarter horse industry, that could be AQHA and the quarter horse world in general. And also for these scholarships, the demonstration of leadership and communication skills. Now, the balance of each of those criteria and the way that the fulfillment of those criteria is weighed is assessed in a grading scale by which each scholarship recipient is selected. And the balance, like I was saying, of those scholarship selections really depends on how that award was established. So if in the past, a donor came to the foundation years or even decades ago, they may have said, I wish to make a gift to the foundation based on these criteria, and I really want this award to heavily weigh in favor of youth who love American quarter horses and perhaps have a great financial need. Then that particular award may have been established to more heavily rely on that criteria of financial need. For another award, it may be based more on, as mentioned above, the applicant's outstanding leadership. So that really is going to vary by award. But the consistency there is that each recipient is chosen by a selection group. The selection group is determined by the Foundation Board of Trustees, and all of those recipient recommendations that the selection group makes receive approval by that Board of Trustees. All right, so looking at the scholarship applications, the actual form to apply is open now, and it actually has been open for about a month and a half. This is an online process that Laura works really hard on, as does the entire foundation team. It will be open all together, what is that, October, November, December, January, so 3 months to work your way through this application process. But the application does close on January 15th, 2023 for this class of scholarships, and it will not reopen for that class, and late applications are not accepted. So be sure to mark your calendars for January 15th. You can reach that online application through the link that's on your screen now, or certainly just by navigating through the website at aqha.com and clicking on Foundation. So Helen is going to jump in now and talk us through what the application itself looks like, what materials you'll need to have at your fingertips, and kind of the logistics of putting together a great application.
Everybody, this is Helen. So as Katie said, I'm going to talk you through kind of the nuts and bolts of that application. So a couple tips or things to keep in mind before we jump into what that application looks like. We just want to remind you that this application, it's one application that will be sent to everything that you are eligible for. So we kind of do, and I say we, Laura and her team do the back end work to sift through the applications to apply you to as many possible scholarships that you can be eligible for. But all you have to do is fill out this one single application form. That being said, it does have to be a completed application form. Incomplete applications are not processed. They're not reviewed. They're not looked at. So be sure that you get all of those checkboxes filled in, and it will show your progress in the application portal to make sure that you are completing and submitting a complete application. Additionally, a good thing to note is that this portal, this application portal, will allow you to start and stop. It will allow you to come in, come back out, work on it for a little bit, come back to it. So you don't have to do this all in one sitting. And I would recommend that you don't do it in one sitting so that you can kind of think about everything. And it's a little bit of a big bite, just getting all the pieces together. You don't have to commit to that one sitting if you don't have the time to do that. So a few things that you will want to have handy before you begin on the portal and before you begin on the application. One is going to be your financial information. So the application does require a self-report of your household income. So whether that is, asking your parents what that household income looks like, if you have any siblings that are in college, just a general self-report of financial some numbers in there is what they're going to ask you for. So having that handy will help. Also, you are going to be required to provide reference letters or recommendation letters. We get asked a lot, what makes a strong recommendation or a strong reference letter? We always will tell people, those who are the best authors of these letters are the people who can speak to your passion and abilities and who know you personally, who can really paint the best picture of who you are, why you're deserving of this scholarship, all the wonderful things that you've done in the industry or in your community, something that's very specific to who you are. These people can be youth advisors, FFA advisors, 4-H club managers, county agents. Those are great people who will know who you are and can speak to that. We don't want it to be somebody who's related to you, though. And we also have a few guidelines of recommendation letters that we do not accept. We do not accept letters from executive committee members, AQHA staff, or the board of trustees or spouses. We also require that the author of these letters be 21 years old. So as long as they're 21, they're not on the no list, the EC member, staff, board of trustees. Anybody who can speak best to who you are and why you're deserving of the scholarship is going to be ideal. We do recommend too, when you're talking to your references and asking those people in your life to provide that letter for you, that you give them about a 2-week window. This isn't something that you want to email them or call them and say you need tomorrow morning. Something that they can have some time to reflect adequately and put into the best words to make you the best candidate for these scholarships. So we advise that you contact these people about 2 weeks out from when you need the letters. And you also want to make sure that they're comfortable writing you this letter. Provide them with the scholarship criteria, provide them with your resume if you have one, or a list of your accomplishments, and ask them if they would feel comfortable writing you a letter to apply for these scholarships. You're also going to need your high school or your college transcripts, depending on where you are in your academics. Keep in mind, schools are going to need time to pull those transcripts, and we are coming up soon on winter break. So your counselors might be out of the office. So if you do have winter break coming up, especially if you're a college student, that's coming up even faster than our high school students. Be sure that you provide yourself adequate time to request those transcripts. If you are homeschooled, this is still a requirement. So you'll need to talk to your parents or your homeschool co-op or whoever's your administrator for your schooling about this document and what would meet this need. And you can always contact Laura or myself or Katie if you're not sure what type of documentation we might need if you are homeschooled or from a private school, but they should still have some form of grade report that you can provide and upload with your application. You will also need a proof of membership or state affiliate if you want to be qualified to any state or regional scholarship. This is not required, and it won't flag your application as incomplete if you do not upload it. However, if you don't provide it, you are not eligible for any scholarship that does require a regional membership, or a state affiliate membership. So that's might be Texas Quarter Horse Association or Rocky Mountain Quarter Horse Association. This can be a membership card. It can be a letter from the affiliate president or the youth advisor confirming your membership. So again, it's not required, but if you don't submit it, you cannot receive those scholarships because you won't be eligible for them. This is not your AQHA or AQHYA ID. So this is something separate that would come either from your region or your state affiliate. You also want to be prepared to answer some additional questions and provide personal information about yourself and contact information as well when you get started. So before we get into the portal, I see we have a question in the chat. Does the transcript need to be official? The transcripts don't come from the high school, but from a third party. The school can provide an unofficial transcript. As this is a self-upload, that in itself is going to be an unofficial transcript, and that will meet that need. And correct me if I'm wrong, Laura, but since this is a self-uploading application, it will be uploaded from you, which will make it an unofficial transcript. Is that correct?
Correct. I know that some transcripts do have a signature from a school official. And if it has that, then I mean, it would meet that qualification as being an official transcript. But again, like you said, if a third party is providing that for you, then traditionally it would not have that, but either would be acceptable.
Great, thank you for confirming. Okay, so now we're going to get into the actual portal, the application portal. So this page is what you're going to see when you go to the Smart Apply Foundation link. You're going to see a handful of different options that you can click on. So you're going to want to scroll down to where you see the AQHF Scholarship Program block in the bottom corner. So this is going to be the scholarship application that you're looking for. The foundation does host a few other applications. So that's what these other research grants, America's Horse Carriers Grant, and the Hall of Fame nominations you'll see on here. But we're looking for the AQHF Scholarship Program. So you're going to want to click on this green More button, and it will take you to the information about the scholarships. On this page, there's a couple of things to note. You can see the program guidelines down here at the bottom, and you can see the scholarship criteria. In these links, you can see all of the different scholarships that are offered and those specific requirements. That's more if you want to take the time to look into them. We do the work of matching you to those, so you don't have to click which ones you want to apply for. We apply you for everything that you're eligible for. So when you're ready, you'll click this green Apply button in the middle of the page, and it's going to take you to the Smart Apply login. If you already have an account, you'll just go ahead and log in here, or you will register. So using this top blue button in the corner, you will use a register button to create your account. And you'll want to make sure that you remember what email and password you use, because this will be how you come back in and out of this application portal. So if you need to register, this is the information that they'll need: first name, last name, email, and that password. So you've created your account. You'll see your name in the top corner. So this is my account, so you'll see my name, Helen Hardy, in the top corner. And this will be what the blank application portal looks like. You haven't started anything, you haven't submitted anything, you have made no progress. So you will see this task complete bar is completely empty, and this will fill up as we move along. This eligibility form, there'll be a check mark in this box once this is completed. So these are great places to look to see how far you are through this application, what you have completed, what you need to come back to before you submit this application. So the first is going to be some eligibility information and some general personal information. So asking if you're a member, and you can either save and continue, or you can mark as complete. The save and continue button, it saves your work, but it does not notify if you're leaving the page. mark is complete will mark this page as complete, and you'll get a little check mark here. So once you enter, you say if you're a member or not, you mark as complete, save your work, mark as complete. You'll see this green check mark that this portion is complete. Now we move on to the application form that's going to ask that basic contact information that I was telling you all about earlier. So this basic contact, AQHA or AQHY ID, address, city, state. And as you scroll down, it's going to ask you some family information. It's going to ask the name of your mother, your father, or your guardians, or your spouse, if you have one, their living or deceased, their AQHA ID number, and their occupation. So this will slide over when you're in the portal, and this will show their occupation over here. If your family members are not members, that is fine. You'll just put a 0 in this ID number field. It will still flag it as a required field. So just place a 0 in the AQHA ID number field if your family members are not members of AQHA. When you continue to scroll down this page, the next will be your letters of reference. So you have two options here. You can either upload the letters yourself, or you can invite people to submit those letters directly from them to the portal. Excuse me. So it is your responsibility, whether you upload the letters yourself or you invite your authors to submit the letters straight to the application, that those are submitted by the deadline. So personally, I would like the letters be sent to me and I can upload them myself. Then I can check that box off. But we do know that not everybody, they might want the option to send their letters in straight to the platform or straight to the portal. And that is okay, but it will be up to you to make sure that they are getting that submitted. And you cannot split the options. So you either upload all 3 or have 3 uploaded for you by the authors. You can't do like 1 by you and 2 by your authors. It's one or the other. When you're on this page, these fields, this name field and this occupation or title field will be required. However, you can come back to edit this if you need to. So if you're not sure who your references are going to be, you can put in a name. Just be sure that you remember to come back and edit this page. Or if you know 2 of them and you're still waiting on who you're going to pick for your 3rd, you can go ahead and put them in, put a placeholder, put exclamation point, or put a character in there to hold that, but just be careful that, or be sure that you come back and you edit this page before you submit your application. And if you don't put anything in there, it will not allow you to move forward. So once you've completed your information, the next page, the first page of your information, the next page is going to ask you about your academic information. And this page is going to look a little bit different depending on what type of applicant you are. So you can see there's 3 options: high school, college, or a vet school applicant. If you select high school, the page is going to look something like this. So it's going to ask for your name of your high school, your GPA, any scores that you might have from standardized testing, and when you took those tests, what major you think you're going to major in, a minor, and your desired occupation. If you're a college applicant, you're going to put in the year that you are, your school, your major, GPA, graduation date, and what you're getting your degree in or your certificate in. Finally, if you are a veterinary school applicant, it's going to look a little bit different again. Just fill out these fields and you will continue the rest of the application the same. The first question is going to be your personal goals and objectives. And this is going to allow you for a long answer response to this question. And my recommendation to anybody submitting this application is to copy this question into a Word document or a notes page or any other kind of note-keeping app on your computer and use that Word document to type this answer out. Do a word, spell check, an editor, copy, paste, revise, do all of your edits until that question is exactly how you want it to, be answered. Your answer is as good as it's going to get. You've looked at it a couple times, you've thought about it, and then copy that answer into this page. We get asked on these kind of open-ended questions, how long should these answers be? And they should be long enough to answer the question meaningfully. So tell everything that you need to tell. Do not sell yourself short. Use the space that's provided, but keep it relatively to the point, and don't repeat or reiterate what you've already said. So meaningful, thoughtful answer that completely answers the question. So there are a few of these open-ended questions. Again, I'd recommend you copy these questions into a Word document, answer them there, make all your edits, your changes there, and then copy your answers into the application portal. Again, at the bottom of the page, you'll see the save and continue. So you'll want to save this and then hit next for the next page of the application. The next the next page is going to ask your quarter horse background and involvement. So you'll select anything that you have been involved in into the different sectors of the quarter horse industry. You will then list any programs that you participated in and the years that you were in those programs. You'll click any contest that you participated in as well. And then the last question are any awards that you've received through your activities with quarter horses. And this is at any level. This is not just at the national level of AQHYA or AQHA. This could be your local, your regional, your affiliate level, anything. You can list all those awards in this final box down here. The last few questions will ask about your current membership. So any memberships, affiliate or partner organizations. This can be NSBA, this can be Stock Horse of Texas, any other equine affiliate and partner organization memberships. You'll list those on this page. And then also another open-ended question of how has your family background influenced your future in the industry? That completes the application form portion of the scholarship application. So again, you'll see this green check mark. We'll mark this piece complete, and it will review all of your answers here. You'll also see that you've completed 2 of the 5 tasks. So here's our overall progress bar of everything that we have to do and complete for this application. The next piece is going to be your financial information. So this is one of the pieces I mentioned earlier that is handy to have this information ahead of time before you open this application, or to have your parents or your guardians close by to help you out filling these pieces of the application out. So what the financial information is going to ask, and I skipped forward a little too quick, sorry about that, is going to be your household income. It's also going to ask for your proposed academic expenses, how much tuition is going to cost, how much your living expenses might be, all your extras, books, meals. So having a generalized idea is going to be helpful in completing this application. Again, this is self-reported, so we don't have to get down to the pennies, but the best estimate you can have of what those expenses are going to look like. So a balance of how these pieces are considered and may vary from award to award, as Katie mentioned earlier. We do have a few scholarships that are needs-based, some are merit-based, and some are a combination. So some of the scholarships, this will come into play of how your scores are weighted. next portion, so you'll see that financial portion is pretty quick. You'll get that green check mark. Your progress bar is going to continue to increase. We'll get to our uploading our transcripts. So here is just a description of this portion of the application and what they're looking for. So you can see here, copy the school's grading systems. If you don't have a transcript system for whatever educational program you are in, it's still required. We'll just have to have some sort of grade report. So one thing to note on this page, only PDF documents are accepted. Again, PDF documents are the only accepted format, and that is documents that end in .pdf. We see a handful of times, not just through the scholarship application, but also in some of our youth programs, we'll see .pages, and those are generated from an Apple device. So that's still a PDF document, but it is Apple's own version of that. And a .pages document is not compatible with this platform. So you're going to want to make sure that you convert those .pages into a PDF, or convert an image or a scanned document into a PDF, or convert a Word document into a PDF. Whatever that looks like, it has to be a PDF format. Once you've uploaded your transcript, you'll be prompted to upload your reference letters if this was the document or selection that you chose in your application form. So remember, up and that in the multiple page application form, you had to select, were you going to upload your transcripts yourself, or were you going to have your author send those transcripts in? If you click that you were going to upload them yourself, you will have this upload reference letters box. If you select that your authors are going to submit them directly, this will not be an option for you. This won't populate. So again, PDF formats are going to be the only accepted file format for reference letters. You'll see them come in as Word documents, as PDFs, or as emails. They have to be in a PDF format. If you need help converting that, there's lots of online converters, or give us a call and we can help talk you through that process. And as a reminder again, it is listed on this page of kind of the guidelines and rules around who can and cannot write you a reference letter for this scholarship application. So they must be at least 21 years old, and references may not be completed by anybody who's related to you. So that's your parents, a relative, your legal guardian. It cannot be any AQHA or foundation staff, any AQHA executive committee member, or an AQH Foundation Board of Trustees member and or their spouse. If you have any questions about who might fit this, or if somebody you're not sure meets, is on one of these committees, just shoot us an email and ask us, and we'll be happy to let you know. So this last portion is the membership verification upload. And this is the piece that I said was optional. It's not going to flag if you don't submit this portion, but it's also not going to make you eligible for any scholarships that require a state or a regional affiliation. So here is where you can upload that membership card from your affiliate, or a letter of confirmation from the affiliate president or the youth advisor, or whoever might write that letter for you. This is where you would upload that membership verification so we can check that box off. If you are a member of your affiliate, I highly recommend just going ahead and submitting this so that you can be eligible for those scholarships. So a few things to note once you have everything uploaded. Of course, you can go back and edit any of these pieces as you need to. You don't have to work your way all the way through. You can go halfway in, go back and edit something, work a little bit more, go back and edit. But once you click on what you want to edit, so if I wanted to edit this first folder, this first piece, you'll see 3 buttons in the top corner. And when you click those 3 buttons, this pop out is going to show up. So you will want to click the edit if you just want to edit a little piece of it. If you want to completely start over, you can, but you can just come here and edit whatever piece you need to edit. So if you put a placeholder as your reference in that table under your application form, you're going to want to make sure to go back here, click the 3 dots in the corner, and go down to edit. So once you have all of the pieces completed, you can review your application. So you want to make sure to note that this reviewing your application is not submission of your application. So you'll want to, I'm not sure if I see it, there'll be a box down here lower that will allow you to review it. I think it was in one of the earlier slides. But reviewing your application is not submitting your application. So here you can review all the pieces and go through, make sure everything looks how you want it to look. The documents you uploaded are the documents that you wanted to have uploaded. The transcripts are your most current transcripts. The letters are from the people you wanted them to be from. Your answers to the open-ended questions are exactly how you want your answers to read. And when you are completely happy with what your application looks like, you can click the green Submit Your Application in the top corner. Clicking the green Submit Your Application will send your application through, and it will be marked as complete, and then it will be able to be reviewed by the selection committee for any potential scholarships. If you do need to log out and log back in and complete, continue your progress or do something else, come back in a couple days later, when you log back in, this is what your screen is going to look like. This is going to be what you'll see when you log back into your SmartApply account. You will see everything you've completed down here, and you can go and edit these pieces as needed or continue those that have not been started yet. So this was the review button I was looking for earlier. So the review button will take you to the review screen, whereas the submit button is different, and we'll submit that and push that forward, not allowing you to edit this application anymore. Great. I'll take a quick second. Does anybody have any questions before we move on about the actual application form, the portal pieces, what that might look like? If you want to go ahead and unmute and ask any questions or drop them in the chat, we'll take a minute or two to see if anybody's got any questions.
Okay, Helen, thanks for doing such a great and a thorough review of that. We'll go ahead and move forward, but if any of you think of a question or are unclear about any part of that application process, please feel free to drop it in the chat or save it. We are going to be wrapping up in the next few minutes here, but before we do that, I want to talk about what it looks like when you have been the recipient of one of these scholarships. How are the awards dispersed? How does that work? What does that, how does that function? And for those of you who may be familiar with that notification process, I hear that it is very exciting to get one of those foundation envelopes in the mail, because I think the way they typically send those out, and Laura, you can speak to this if you like, but I hear that there is confetti included when you notify someone that they've been selected to receive a foundation scholarship. So that it sounds like it's just a really big moment, and it's one that we love to think about when we know that the foundation is sending out notifications that those recipients have been selected. I believe that typically happens during the summer. Laura, is that the plan for the 2023 class as well?
Yes, we hope to have notifications out the beginning of June. So yes, you'll want to make sure and keep an eye on the mail, so to see if you get that confetti package.
Perfect. Yes, we love confetti. So for those folks who are lucky enough to be selected to receive part of that $290,000 in 2023, the scholarship payments will actually be paid, or the word for it with scholarships is disbursed, on a semester by semester basis. So a portion of that award will be paid out each semester that you are enrolled in school and that your eligibility continues to apply. We do get a question fairly regularly, just wanting to clarify, do I have to go to a university? Can I go to a two-year college? The answer is yes. Scholarships typically may be applied to a 1, a 2, or a 4-year degree plan. There may be some restrictions on that if the donor for the scholarship has specified their wishes. Then some awards will have specific requirements, but generally speaking, the foundation's requirements are that recipients must attend an accredited college, a university, or a vocational or technical school. So there's lots of opportunity for these quarter horse youth and collegiate students to choose the educational path that is right for them. The awards may support undergraduate, graduate, accredited vocational school, and or veterinary school undertakings. And then this is important to note. You as a foundation scholarship recipient will never receive a check made out to you. The disbursements are actually going to be paid to the university, college, or school. They will not come to your mailbox. Finally, one thing we wanted to mention is that recipients of multiple year scholarships do have an annual requirement of items that they'll need to submit each year for the renewal of their scholarship. So in those cases, that one-time universal application, there will be a little bit of follow-up work on an annual basis to make sure that you continue to receive the remaining portions of that award. So for next steps, we've said it before, we'll say it again, January 15th is the critical day. After that day, we will not be accepting any further applications or anything else to potentially complete an application for scholarships. You need to be done, have your I's dotted and your T's crossed by January 15th. So as Helen mentioned earlier, if you're working through the process of thinking about who may be the best people to ask for one of those 3 letters of recommendation, if you need to gather financial information, transcripts, all of that, I would encourage each of you to really invest the time. If you can receive a scholarship from the American Quarter Horse Foundation or really from any organization, that is going to be just a phenomenal investment of a few hours of your time. So it may seem sort of arduous, but I just encourage y'all to plan ahead, get all of the requirements together, and do a great job on your application. And as a reminder, work ahead of time to make sure you have an acceptable version of proof of membership in your state affiliate. As Helen said, that's not required to complete your application, but I would always encourage you to provide all the information that you can to make you eligible for the greatest number of awards. So go ahead and get your application started, make sure you finish it, you review it, and you actually click submit on it by January 15th. So at this time, I want to just open the floor for additional questions. Laura, please share anything else that you as our in-house expert may want to share with this group and with those who may be watching this from a recording. And while we're thinking of questions, and while Laura is taking the opportunity to visit with us, if you'd like, Laura, I'll also say our contact information is on the screen now. You can also, and I'd encourage you to reach out to us anytime. Our contact info is on the website. That's aqha.com. You can navigate easily to the foundation or to the youth departments and get a hold of us that way.
Yep. So, as Katie and Helen both mentioned, I think the key to making sure that you get your application prepared and in early is really beneficial, because if you do, for some reason, figure out that there's something else that you forgot you need to be added, that gives you the opportunity to double check it or even triple check it before you get it submitted. Sometimes if you wait to the last minute, then like we said, if you have a reference provider, the author of that letter may not have that opportunity to get it to you in as early as you want. And so just make sure you plan as far ahead of time as you can.
Thank you, Laura. I'd invite any questions if you'd like to unmute yourselves. For those of you who feel like you have your questions answered, this concludes our webinar, so you're welcome to stay on the line. We will stay on the line a few more minutes, and just really appreciate each of you for joining us or watching this recording. Thanks so much, and we wish you the very best of luck applying for these wonderful foundation scholarships.
So these two email addresses that are up on this PowerPoint slide are the best ones to reach you about questions concerning anything on the application.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes, sir. If you send an email to foundation@aqha.org, that will get it to Laura or to her team. As I said, they're the resident in-house experts, but Helen and I monitor the youth at aqha.org email inbox, and we are happy. If we don't know the answer, we will get you to the right person. So either one of those will be great.
Thank you.
You bet. Okay, if there are no other questions, we'll go ahead and conclude the webinar. Thank you all again, and best of luck.